and welcome to this edition of Inside Leatherneck Athletics. I'm Kimberly Tortorisi.
And I'm Jason Chauvin. Joining us today, we have head coach of the Leatherneck football team, Charlie Fisher. Thanks for joining us today, Coach.
It's good to be here.
Now, you are transitioning from the offensive coordinator of the Richmond Spiders over to the head guy here at Western. What's the transition been like?
Oh, it's been good. You know, everybody here has been great. It's an easy transition for me because I've done them both before. So I've been a head coach before, been a coordinator, so it's easy, and I'm still heavily involved in the offense. So that's been the easy part.
And you mentioned that you've been both assistant coach, offensive coordinator, head coach, and you've been a part of programs at Penn State, West Georgia, Ole Miss. What do you think your most memorable moment of coaching is?
That's a good question. 36 years, you have a lot of good memories. I could go on and on. I always keep a top 10 list anyhow of memorable moments. But, obviously having a chance to go back and coach at Penn State, I grew up 50 miles from Penn State. That was a unique opportunity for me. And then, some great wins there. One that sticks out was on Whiteout night. We beat Michigan, who was ranked 6th in the country in 4 overtimes. But I got a nice list of games there that I could go down, but that would be one most recently that jumps out.
Now, since you've been around a bunch of coaches in your time, how would you describe yourself as a coach?
I'm a player's coach, high energy, passionate guy, come to work with a purpose. I've always been that kind of guy. I like to, I'm an energy guy. I guess that's probably the easiest way to put it. And, driven, obviously, hardworking person. That's how I kind of made it in the business. That's how you got to make it in any business. But at the end of the day, coaches, player's coach, driven, energetic, passionate guy.
And with all your history with coaching, around 30 years under your belt, what makes the Leatherneck program stand out to you?
Well, one thing that jumped out at me was the tradition. That right away, that was there. The pride in this program, it's it runs deep. That when they contacted me about the head job, that jumped right out. So I'd say the pride, the tradition, the winning tradition, the players that come through here, those things jump right out at you.
Now, you inherit a team that went to the second round of the FCS playoffs. What do you bring as a coach to help this team make it to the next level?
Well, obviously we've got to continue to improve. They've taken great steps here, and we've got to take it another step. And that's, through your discipline, your hard work, attention to detail, those type of things. We're not going to catch, I tell the players every day, we're not going to catch anybody by surprise. They're going to be ready for Western Illinois. So we got to be ready to play, ready to go. But we've had a great off season, a good spring ball. We still got work ahead of us, obviously, with camp, and this summer's big for us. But our guys are focused. They're ready to compete in this great league.
What do you think your first order of business when you came here in January? What were your first duties as a coach?
Well, you always have to build a relationship. Coaching's all about relationships. So you build relationships with the players, you build trust in them. You lay the foundation for your program. Everything's going to be a little bit different. So that was, business number one, and then get our off-season program up and running. And recruiting, had to jump right in. We had 3 weeks to sign a class, which I felt like we did a good job with. We brought some really good players in here, hopefully.
Your spring practice is done, spring game's done. Was there anything you put extra emphasis on throughout the spring practice?
Obviously I'm an offensive guy, so I'm always emphasizing offense. But I know where you win. You got to win with great defense. We have a good defense coming back. Special teams is an area we need to really improve. We will continue to emphasize that heavily. But just implementing all your schemes, because they're all new. They're different from what they did here a year ago.
You mentioned that you're more offensive when you coach, more offensive guy. Did you have to switch up your coaching methods at all coming into this position?
No, not really. No, I'm hands-on and always going to have a say-so and be heavily involved with our offense. So no, other than the fact I step back, I let my guys coach. I'm not coaching the quarterbacks here or other than, I got a lot of input, but I'm not with them in every drill and whatnot. So that's been a little bit different, but I hired guys to do a job, and they're doing it, and I let them do it.
Now this team comes in with some pretty big expectations. Do you have any expectations for yourself as a coach of this team?
Well, the expectation is always to win. Anything less would be not our best. So you have one expectation. Anything you do in life, that's to win or do your very best. And that would be, I tell the players, that's what we do here. That's our job. That's what they pay me to do. That's win games, and that's what we're supposed to do.
after watching the team in spring practices and getting that underway and setting up summer programs, do you have any concern, any areas of concern as watching them practice this early?
Well, good question. You know, you always have concern because you're never totally as good as you want to be across the board. I mean, we have to address our defensive line needs. We have, we lost 3 or 4 players there, so the guys we have there are young. We're still, we've got a young secondary coming back. We're still young on defense, so talented, and those kids have played a lot. So that's a big area. We have to address our running back need with the loss of Nico Watson. So we lost a tremendously talented player there. But we've got numbers. We got guys working at the position. Just a matter of who's going to step forward and win the job.
Now, for people who don't know what the offense was like at Richmond, what can they expect from the Western offense? Is it going to look similar to last year, or do you have your own little twist for it?
No, it'll be totally different. It's a pro-style offense. It goes back to my time at Penn State. I've been doing this a long time, so there may be bits and pieces from things I've taken everywhere I've been. But at the end of the day, it's an NFL pro-style offense. We're under center more. It's not just shotgun. It's not just fast pace. A lot of play action, downhill running game. So it's more of would be what you'd see on Sundays, more of an NFL type of attack.
Now, going back to before, you mentioned whoever steps up to that role. Have you noticed any players stepping up to take a leadership role?
Oh yeah, I mean we've got some really good leaders. We got great kids in this program. They've been a lot of fun to coach. That's been the neatest thing. You come in here and the previous staff recruited some really good kids in here, and so that's been a lot of fun. The Brett Taylor, Sean McGuire, 2 guys are named captain, but Jacob Judd. We got leaders across the board, and that's what it takes to win. You got to have strong leadership from your players, and obviously it starts with me and our staff.
All right, well, Coach, I want to thank you for joining us today. That's all the time we have here for this edition of Inside Leatherneck Athletics. For Kimberly Tortorisi, I'm Jason Chauvin. Thanks for watching.